Looks fine, thank you, and thanks for the invitation to come and speak with you all today. I'm Rob Farrow. I'm a Senior Research Fellow at the Institute of Educational Technology at the Open University in the UK. Just to give you a bit of an overview, I'm going to assume that most people have heard of the Open University in the UK. It's the biggest UK university and one of the first distance learning universities. I've been working at the Open University since 2009, and I started just before I finished my PhD, which is in philosophy, and kind of shifted into educational technology around that time. I'm currently the program lead for Learning in an Open World, which is one of several research programs at the Institute of Educational Technology. And I kind of look after the projects which are to do with open education or openness in various forms and instantiations. The main project that we have at the moment is the Global OER Graduate Network, of which I'm a co-director. And I'll say a bit more about that in a second, but it's a doctoral network for anyone working in the field of open education. But anyone can join, so that might be something to consider. Amongst other things, I also do quite a lot of mentoring work. This includes mentoring for ASEF, the Asia Europe Foundation, the Future Leaders Fellowships in the UK, UNESCO's Open Education for a Better World, the SPARC, which is the Scholarly Publishing and Research Committee, I think. I can't remember what it stands for exactly. They have branches in the US and in Europe. And I'm also a mentor on our internal professional development program, which is called Applaud. So just a bit more about GoGN, which is the Global OER Graduate Network. I've put the website address in the slide there if you want to go and check it out. So GoGN is funded by the Hewlett Foundation in the US, and we exist to support people doing doctoral research in open education. Originally, the focus was on open educational resources, OER, but as time's gone on, it's become kind of broader in focus, and I would say a bit more focused on practice, and also incorporating a lot of researchers who are quite interested in social justice matters and sort of looking at open education as a route to social justice. We have a strand of our work which is focused on equity, diversity and inclusion, and we also have a focus on promoting open education researchers in the global south and kind of amplifying the work that they do. So we have about 200 members who are either doctoral students or they're alumni, so they finished their doctorate. And then we've got another 250 or so members who are friends of the network, experts, maybe they're supervising doctoral students, mentors, that kind of thing. So it's about 450 people in total across 29 countries. So we have a pretty good geographical spread, and they're doing some interesting stuff. And we use the network partly to support people, but also to explore and research what openness means in the context of research and education. One of the things that we do in GoGN is we co-create resources that are intended to support researchers and to support doctoral students. If you wanted to check out the biggest collection of them, we have this Open Research Handbook, which brings together several different publications. And what we're aiming for ultimately, I guess, is the complete guide to doing research in open education. So we've got various different volumes around that. But yeah, there's plenty in there if you're interested in doing research. Everything's written very accessibly and is intended to be as user-friendly as possible, considering that a lot of doctoral research guidance is not that user-friendly. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different OERs that you can download from the GoGN website. I want to just give you a very brief overview of some of my own work as a researcher. So as someone who's got a background in philosophy, as you might expect, I'm quite interested in the philosophical dimensions of open education and educational technology more broadly. So I've done a bit of work around ethics, and most recently I've been looking at issues around equity, diversity, inclusion, but also around decolonization and kind of exploring that with the kind of critical lens. And I also have a paper coming out very soon, which is about the sort of social and political commitments of open education, understood as a global project. But my most recent publication in this area is the one you can see on the screen, which is a kind of retrospective reflection on some different educational technology projects that took place in the global south, and trying to sort of understand what is the relationship between a kind of open approach to education and something that you might call decoloniality. I tend not to talk about decolonization because I'm not sure I can sort of cash those checks, but I think I can talk about decoloniality as a mindset and as a sort of set of practices. So that's one kind of aspect of what I do. I've also been writing some stuff around AI ethics recently. And AI has been, you know, as it has for a lot of people, it's been a kind of increasingly prominent theme for me to research. And so I've got several publications which are around AI. One example here is this AI manifesto, which was co-written with 46 other authors. So that's quite a big group to manage. I'm glad I wasn't the one managing it. But there's increasingly a lot of hands on the wheel for these kind of papers where you're trying to incorporate all these different perspectives. So yeah, there's some work around AI, and I'm also particularly interested in aspects of openness around AI. What does it mean to be open with these technologies, and how do we ensure that the values of open education are expressed through the use of these technologies? And so one example of this kind of stuff is this paper that I wrote about explicable artificial intelligence, and trying to understand how well the idea of explicability and transparency translates to an open approach to using AI in education. A lot of my core research has been around open educational resources, especially historically. Most recently, I wrote this paper for the Journal of Open, Distance and Digital Education, which is a relatively new journal, with some colleagues at my university. This was part of a European project originally, and then expanded for this study. If you want to check out my publications, I've got a Google Scholar profile, and obviously you can kind of find most of those things on there. The institutional repository at my university also has some of the things that are paywalled in open access versions. So yeah, that's me. Thank you very much.